See, it was seamless.
Seamless. Yeah.
Except for that little seam that you may have noticed.
Yeah, barely noticed,
Yeah.
except that we're talking about it right now. Yeah.
All right. So, so we're saying it's going through. Is that what people call a closed phase? You think, or
I think that that's a good explanation of what you might call a closed phase.
because you always hear that when people go, "Oh, it's going through a little bit of a closed phase right now." I think right.
Yeah, I mean,
What does
closed.
that
I
mean,
think
right?
it can mean several things, but I do believe that this wine has left its fresh, fruity, floral stage, which I think it had. I remember it having it.
Sure.
And is in kind of this like earthy, oaky phase right now.
Yep.
And all I can hope is that it'll go through a tertiary, a leathery, dried
Absolutely.
fruit phase. And if it doesn't, well then it's garbage from now on out.
Yeah. Well, but I do remember when it had that like luscious black berries when it was like maybe a year younger.
Yeah.
And I do sense that it's developing those earthy, leathery aromas. I get hints of it. It's coming.
Do you get like fresh tobacco leaf or like just
I
any
hear you.
tobacco
Yeah, a
leaf?
little chewing tobacco. Yeah.
Right.
Like red man chewing tobacco.
My gut
Picture
tells
of
me
the
this
Indian
will
on it.
get
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
It will get it. You know, I don't think it's a 20-year-old wine or
No.
something, but I think that it's
No, it's not a super premium
not a
wine,
bad wine.
but it's a quality wine. It's a real,
Yeah.
serious European wine. It's the real deal.
well, it does a trick when it's young to satisfy that like richer, lusher, dark,
That's right.
oaky fruit profile, like someone who wants something different from Cabernet or something. And I think right now, I mean, we haven't purchased a new. I think this is 15. If we sold out of this and had to reorder it, we haven't ordered it in a while. We
Yeah.
might be getting we might have skipped a vintage. We
Yeah,
might be
we
on
may have.
17.
Yeah.
So we're a couple of vintages back, and I think it's showing really interestingly.
Agreed.
It's close to being a very interesting wine.
We should think about cellaring some of this. for a
Saving
year.
it, yes. We
Yeah.
should maybe get the new vintage when it's fresh and fruity,
I think
and
so.
save the last 2 cases of this we
Totally
have,
agree.
and see what happens.
We absolutely should. Let's cellar it
I
for
was
a
thinking,
year.
I was thinking the same thing.
Pop a bottle and see where we're at a
Thinking
year.
the same
from now.
thing. It might be really
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah, and for the price, totally worth it.
Absolutely. We should talk a little bit about Emilio Moro.
Well, have we met him or something?
Oh,
Who
yes,
did we meet?
yes,
Who did
we
we meet?
have.
Well, all right. I think
Not Emilio Moro. I think he
Jose
passed
or something.
on,
I wasn't
back in the 60s
Sure.
or something. But
I wasn't here for a couple of them. My memory is kind of vague.
really,
It's a Jose or something.
Yeah.
But there was a couple times that
Jose is
you
the
met
young
someone from the
guy.
winery that I wasn't here.
okay.
He was sitting right here. Someone,
Well, we met Jose.
Jose Moro.
Jose Moro, which I think is the young guy. I just met him at the Skurnik wine tasting like 3 weeks
In
ago.
the city.
In the city.
The Skurnik Grand Portfolio tasting.
The Skurnik Grand Portfolio tasting
Yeah.
in the city like
Yeah.
3 weeks ago, and I really should
Yeah.
remember the dude's
Nice.
name.
Yeah.
I feel like it's Jose Moro.
It might be Jose, yeah.
And we met his uncle as well a couple of times. And I'm blanking. We could look it up.
I went to the Emilio Moro winery when I was in Spain last year.
Right.
I don't think I met any of the people.
Any of the Moros?
I don't think they particularly cared that I was from a wine bar in New York at the
Right.
moment. It was
Even though
hard
you
to-
had met them before here
Yeah,
in
but
New
I don't
York,
think that
but sure,
just
they meet
was
lots of people,
visiting.
right?
I definitely didn't pay for anything. I
Right,
mean,
right.
I got that
Sure.
very honorable, hey, you're in
Right,
the industry,
VIP,
which
right, sure.
is certainly a privilege. If you're in the business, I gotta say, if you're in the business and you go tasting somewhere, people in this business, this industry, are so gracious, so generous and friendly. They usually let you taste for free. I mean, it's a
Sure.
huge benefit of being in the
Well, it's
industry.
a sales tool.
It's a
also.
sale. Well, sure, but it's courtesy
Yeah,
that
absolute professional
extends,
courtesy,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's a great benefit from the industry.
Yeah.
Um,
But if you're a buyer,
you're a
you have
customer.
they're going to let you taste for free because
I might spend
you're
$1,000
happy.
that day.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sometimes I have.
If you're a
Sometimes
commercial
I-
buyer, they're going to
Right.
they're going to go like, oh, how many dozen cases would you like to order?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They're going to get you liquored up and then try to sell you,
Exactly.
500 cases.
It doesn't mean it's not nice.
Vino
though.
veritas.
It's
Yeah.
still a nice thing. It doesn't
Yeah,
mean it's
sure,
it's not
absolutely.
not nice. Well, I don't know. I'm a fan of it, and you know what? before we move on from this, and maybe wrap it up even, I think it's worth mentioning, we have one of Emilio Moro's, I tasted this for the first time when I was in Ribera del Duero in Spain, 2018, late 2018, so not much than a year and a half ago. This is their Malialuz de Valderamiro. It refers to the vineyard and the soils that it's from. They make a couple of these high-end bottlings, and they're this Sancho Martin, Valderamiro, and they reference the vineyard and the soils. This has extended oak aging. The fruit is very concentrated. This is a 2011. I mean, it's a mind-blowing, dense, rich wine. This is a great wine, and maybe it's like 35, 38 on our list. This is closer to 200. And and our wine prices are really great.
Closer to 100? It's
Closer to 200.
now.
It's like 175.
Oh, 200.
On our list.
200. Yes.
200. But our wine prices are really fair. This might be a little more on some other person's wine list.
Sure.
This might be like 300-400 on some wine list. I mean, it's crazy value, but the wine is insane. Just rich and oaky.
The Maliolus is
very
a super premium wine, and it tastes it.
Just to remind you, it's 2011. It's got about a decade on it, and it could go much longer. Before we do wrap it up, the wine of the night, though, and there's there's a little more. Let's take a final thought about what we think about this wine, and if anyone finds 2015, you certainly could. I don't think you'll find it from the supplier's warehouse, but I think you'll find it at random wine shops all over the place, probably online. 2015. Let's see it. Right now it's 2020. Yep, the worst year in history as far as we're all concerned. And we're in the midst.
The Corona year.
It's the Corona year. It's the Corona month and the Corona year. It's March 2020.
I don't like the fact that people are calling it Corona. I think it should be like the Wuhan pneumonia, because there are many coronaviruses.
Yeah.
It's only one of many.
We probably all had coronaviruses.
Most common colds are coronavirus.
You have to respect the terroir.
Yeah, exactly. To respect the exactly the terroir. It's like
it's just a different vintage of coronavirus. That's all.
Who said that?
Oh, it's quarantine only if it comes from the quarantine region of France.
I saw that meme.
Sparkling
and,
isolation.
It's just sparkling isolation.
On that meme note, I have to say, I think we're also in a golden moment of memes. I think the memes right now are just absolutely the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's just
the golden
golden moment of memes. It really is.
Well, I think that we should start talking about COVID-19. Well, technically, it's not COVID-19 if it doesn't come from the Wuhan region of China.
Yeah, then it's COVID. Anything else?
Otherwise, it's just
I don't know. That's cheesy. I don't know.
But it's true.
It's true, but it's cheesy.
True.
I don't know.
But listen, before we go on and do the final evaluation of this wonderful 2015 Emilio, we got a takeout order.
Hey, in the middle of the apocalypse.
Oh no, we don't. No, we don't. It's an employee
Jonathan.
never mind.
How's it going?
All right. Shouldn't he call one of our cell phones? What is he doing? He's the manager. He shouldn't call him now.
He should know better. But what I was going to say is before we move on and wrap it up with the final evaluation, I think, talking about Ribera del Duero, we're talking about Emilio Moro. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Vega Sicilia.
Okay. I gave you too much, and normally I would pour a little bit more in my glass, but given the circumstances,
with the Corona,
I don't know what to do about it. I think I just
you screwed yourself.
If I run out first, you just got to top me off with
top him off with something.
Some plonk, some swill. I don't care what it is. Vega Sicilia. Yeah.
So you can't talk about Ribera del Duero without talking about Vega Sicilia.
I guess we kind of powered through this a little quick. I mean, we don't want to go too long tonight, I feel like, but
we're trying to keep it down to time, and I feel like we're rushing and we're missing stuff.
So Vega Sicilia. I mean, we can talk about it and not take forever, right?
Yeah.
Vega Sicilia is it's one of Spain's most powerful, names, most intimidating names in terms of just like, this is a great producer. They're very valuable, age-worthy wines, very expensive.
Yeah.
And Vega Sicilia made their fame. Vega Sicilia Winery in the Ribera del Duero on their Tempranillo-based wines. However, they weren't only Tempranillo. There was, I believe, I could be misquoting some other producer or something, but I know that there was like Cabernet, Merlot, or something. I believe that they also mysteriously planted Pinot Noir.
Wow.
I think that was
That's
something
weird.
I read at some point. Maybe I'm
Bizarre.
conflating something, but
Yeah.
Pinot Noir. They just planted it though. Who knows? Maybe they just were like into Pinot Noir.
Okay.
Maybe it never ended up in
Did
a
it
blend.
end up in the blend?
I don't know. I don't think it ends up in today's blends. Maybe
Right.
it did at one point.
So, but the flagship one, Vega Sicilia Unico.
Unico, which means unique in Spanish, or the way I always look at it is the one and only.
The one and only.
Unico, the
Unico.
one and only.
El Unico.
And it's occasionally been Spain's most expensive wine,
Yeah.
most highly sought after wine, most touted wine.
Yeah.
They usually release it after 10 years of age in barrel and bottle, but it's released after 10 years of that barrel and bottle, and then hits the market 10 years later. So right now you can probably find a 2010-ish.
But yeah,
Unico.
I mean, clearly Vega Sicilia Unico is the benchmark of Ribera del Duero. It's what
Benchmark.
put Ribera del Duero on the map.
Put it on the map.
You know, it's
yeah.
it's a wine with worldwide cachet. It's
Mhm.
one of the top 20. You know, up there with like the Bordeaux First Growths and Sassicaia and the Super Tuscans.
Right,
and,
right.
You know, it's up there as a name that people know. Vega Sicilia Unico. That's one of the It's one of the best known wines in the world in terms of like high.
And then if you're talking Spain,
even if you're not talking
how
Spain,
can you? Well, how
Oh,
can you?
yeah.
Well, even if you're not talking Spain, but if you're talking Spain, sure, we're talking Ribera del Duero.
Right.
You're right. We
That's
have
right.
to mention Vega Sicilia.
right?
And just to be fair, let's
Mhm.
mention some of the people that came thereafter: Emilio Moro,
Right.
Alejandro Fernandez,
Okay.
with Pesquera, Pingus.
Pingus.
Oh,
somebody wants more of this. Go ahead.
right? I mean,
Pingus, Flor de
these are
Pingus.
just
Flor de Pingus is their entry level.
Flor de Pingus is their entry level.
Right.
That'll be about $100 a bottle.
Right.
The Pingus will be hundreds of dollars a
Sure.
bottle.
There's some high end stuff. in there.
I think a
And
lot of
it's
the
all great.
and a lot of the influence there is, I think, French, right? I mean, a lot of this barrique aging and
Mhm.
whatnot.
Although mostly American oak, right?
There is American oak present. I think it's French and American.
Okay.
But I think
On
that
the Pingus.
I believe that varies from producer to producer. Yeah.
But if you want to get into Ribera del Duero and you don't want to spend $700 on Unico, is that even realistic? Is it even more?
Can you not? Wait.
But I'm just
Can you
saying,
go over under on?
if you want to get into Ribera del Duero wines that have the real quality of Ribera and tell you what it's about, and you don't want to spend $700 on a bottle of Vega Sicilia Unico, Emilio Moro is a great place to start.
Emilio Moro is great.
Especially if you go for the higher end bottlings like the Malleolus.
Like the Malleolus.
Oh, I mean, you can't do
Uh,
that. $700, it's not getting better than this.
Well, off the top of my head, you have Unico, which is hundreds, probably run you about 1,000, maybe plus
Yeah.
on a quality
Yeah.
wine list in like, a city or something.
But I think it's like 700, retail.
It's something like that. Their other label, I believe it's not a second label, but it's from another vineyard or something. The Valbuena.
Valbuena.
Now I know that costs us about $250, so you might see that
Valbuena by
for
Vega Sicilia.
several hundred, 300-400. But in a restaurant, probably more like 500-600-700. That's you're talking a wine that's half the price, and a lot of people swear. A lot of our rep swears by the Valbuena. We tried Unico at the Spectator Grand Tasting in 2016, I think it was. Gets kind of muddled with all the top growth Bordeaux's and
Sure.
everything. Of course, it was great, but hey, at the end of the day, wine's wine. But we had the Valbuena recently,
We did.
and it was impressive.
Yeah, sure.
It's
got
it was
structure.
It's
It's got structure up the butt.
It had layers of fresh fruit and developed fruit,
Yeah,
and savory,
complexity,
tobacco, leather, wood. I mean, it was all over the place. And just a fraction of the price of the Unico. I mean, the Valbuena, I agree with our reps who sell it. I'd go Unico, right?
Sure.
And then you have like some side producers like Dominio Vasconcellos, which is a newer producer. Ribera del Duero is a relatively new region. There's good wine out there. There's good
Okay.
wine.
So I'm going to jump in though, and I'm going to say, however, to bring back to the wine of the night, the Emilio
wine of the night.
Moro, entry level, basic, the Emilio Moro Crianza. I would say, if you want to get into Ribera del Duero at, an affordable, very accessible price point, don't do anything other than the Emilio Moro Crianza. There are other Ribera del Dueros that really don't deliver.
I don't think they denominated this as a Crianza.
Oh, they didn't? Oh,
To my
Cosecha 2015.
recollection,
Ah,
being there, it was aged in wood for about a year,
okay.
and I think that they can call it a Crianza.
But they didn't.
They chose not to. It's a similar style, but it doesn't say Crianza on the label.
Okay.
So just not to get.
But in any
Certainly
case,
not a Hogan.
It's not a super young
if you're
wine.
going at a low price point, if you want to get into Ribera and start exploring it without spending a lot of money, and you want to be under $40 a bottle, don't do anything other than Emilio Moro.
And before we go on
Right, this
from
is
that,
it.
before we go from that, you're someone who wants to get into Ribera. Who might you be? Someone who wants to get into Ribera.
Some wine drinker that watches this podcast and goes, "Hey, Ribera, that sounds interesting."
But what do you drink normally that you're someone who
Cab.
might want to? Cab, Merlot,
Rioja,
maybe anything Italian.
right? Lots
Maybe
of
it's old
Italian
world.
wines,
Maybe,
right.
maybe there's just an old worldliness you like about
Right.
Italy that this would appeal to you.
If you like cabs, but you also like Chiantis,
Right.
or Aljanicos, or
Right.
Barolos even,
I
this
think
might be something to
Ribera,
try.
right.
Or Bordeaux's.
Let's just say before we just quickly review this specific bottle, Ribera del Duero, a highly recommended region for me personally. I think I can speak for both of us when we talk about Ribera del Duero, this producer as well. Just great value, great style that I think a lot of people attract to. To me, I always said that Ribera del Duero, Tempranillo, was the bridge between the old world, meaning European
Yes.
wine, and the new world. If you're a Cabernet drinker or something like that from California, and you wanted to start to get into European wine, Ribera del
here.
Duero, Tempranillo. It's full, it's dark, it's
Start
oaky.
right here.
Right there. This is the place. And then yes, this particular bottle of 2015 Emilio Moro, I think it's right on par with the quality of other vintages we've had of this wine. I think we've been drinking this wine since the 2011, or was it even earlier? Maybe the 2008 vintage.
Ooh.
I forget that I've been working here for 8 years. 7 years.
Yeah. Well, we opened in
I
2011.
think the original
had
bottle was
Emilio
2008.
Moro.
That I remember. I
I
picked
think
the
you're
last,
right.
the first bottle out from right over there. I picked it out. I think
Yeah.
it was 2008.
Yep.
So we've been working with them for a long time.
Yep. 7th vintage.
But they've always been consistent.
Very consistent.
Now-
They always deliver quality.
Just quality. However, let's talk about one last point. Where will this bottle go, and how long will it be worth watching where it goes? It's 2015 right now,
Okay.
and it tastes delicious.
Okay.
But it tastes like it's going through a little bit of a transformation.
Sure.
Will it come out of that transformation in good shape, or will it be for the worse? There's even a little coffee on here, a little French roast coffee.
Let's really finally taste this thing instead of just babbling.
Rambling on about this wine.
Let's actually taste this thing finally.
Maybe sometimes we should blind taste or something.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe we should.
I should be like, hey, get this wine, look at it,
Alright.
and you blind taste it or something.
Alright.
That could be cool.
You're talking. Let's taste.
I already tasted it.
Oh, he's an advanced som. He does it quicker than me.
I do it quick. You know, it sucks. I went through this whole advanced som thing. I mean, I'm very happy and very honored to have gone through it. And I come back and the whole world's in shutdown. It's like I
Yeah.
can't even like soak it in for a moment.
Yeah.
That's all gone. But hey,
Yeah.
we'll get through it. We'll get
An
through it.
advanced som in the apocalypse, in the end times.
My first job as an advanced som was to figure out how we can sell wine during the apocalypse.
apocalypse.
Yeah. Hey, that's an advanced
it's probably
role.
the most novel job right now.
It's, you know what? It's
People
been
have to-
interesting. It'll be memories. It'll be memories.
Yeah.
So, okay, your thoughts.
Okay. So now that I'm really tasting into it, the nose, I'm still having a little trouble getting my nose around, but on the palate, a lot of black cherry fruit. I'm getting a lot of little chocolatey hints. You know, it's got
Your fruit is black cherry.
black cherry.
I get a little red in there.
Oh, sure,
Purpley,
some.
pomegranate fruit.
Okay.
Dried.
No, you're right. You're right. I defer to the advanced som. I mean, but I think there's black and red fruit, as is typical of all Tempranillo.
Dark red and black fruit, as is pretty Tempranillo-ish.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, there's black cherry, but there's also sure.
And there's mocha powder, cocoa powder.
Exactly.
A little cinnamon, toasted oak. A little vanilla bean, like dried vanilla bean.
It's got a richness on the palate, and it is starting to develop that tobacco note. I think this is going to go somewhere.
She's yelling at us for taking too long.
We're
almost done. We're almost done. 1 minute.
Bear with us. We're going
to call the ageability.
Couple of minutes.
From here.
All right. So I think you got your black cherry, you got your vanilla, you got your cocoa powder, chocolate, and I think there's like you said, there's that tobacco note coming out. I think this is going to go somewhere. I think in 2 years.
You think in 2 years it'll be in a really special place, or that it's only got 2 years left?
Both.
Okay. Well, right, it's like it'll peak in 2 years, and maybe it'll last there for a while, but like that's the best point, so you might as well drink it in 2 years.
That's right.
It might be okay in 3 years, but in 2 years, that's when it's the best.
That's what I mean, yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think that by the year, this is 2015, I think by the year 2025, it's drink the wine.
No, it'll be fake.
However,
2025.
if you want to get this wine, if you have a couple bottles of this, or you find a couple bottles of this, and you were like, hey, let's lay it down for a little bit, lay it down for another year or two.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 if you forget about it, and it'll be at its best in that point. I kind of agree. I think these like really interesting, savory, leathery tobacco notes will come out a little bit more in the next year to 3 years.
Yep.
And after that, it's dead.
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with what you're saying. Like tasting into it right now, it's right on the edge. It's on this weird boundary.
Yeah.
Where the fruit's kind of going away, but there's these other notes coming out. And it's right on the knife's edge.
Yeah.
It needs like 1 more year, and then it'll start really tasting well like a developed wine.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think for the price here, you have a really interesting, pretty relatively age-worthy wine. You know, for the price. I mean,
Right on.
What is this retail? I mean,
I don't know,
25.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, fuck.
Well,
And you got that when it was brand new, and you hold on to a case or two of that.
yeah.
That's a crowd-pleasing wine, and you know what? We've had it enough vintages. It always is. So if you miss this vintage and you find it on the 2017 or something, get it.
Super
It'll be just as
reliable
good.
wine. Delicious.
Take our word for it. We've had it
great
for
price.
6-7 vintages in a row.
Yeah,
It's always
Emilio
been good.
Moro.
Yeah, and not only this bottling, all their bottlings have also been good. We've met the people, we've been there, and we've had many wines. It's good.
Yeah, Emilio Moro's great.
They're a good winery. Yeah.
So yeah, in conclusion, great wine, and we're gonna do the after hour. We're gonna do the after hours podcast where we drink a cocktail. As always, we're gonna take a break, come back for the after hours cocktail, and we're gonna say a bunch of like offensive, politically incorrect shit.
Yeah, please.
And then we're gonna cut that off, and it won't
Like
be
what?
in
What
the
would
video.
you say that was so unoffensive? That's crazy.
Well, you'll find out when we do that.
Okay.
But of course, it's going to be so offensive that we're just going to have to delete it completely.
And like last
so
time.
you won't see it
Like
like
last
we did
time,
in the last episode.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
know that it's about to happen, and
Yeah.
we are going to record it, but we're
We'll
not
probably
going to
delete it.
publish it.
Yeah.
Because Andrew has a public sector job, so
I have some jobs and people
he
would
can't
maybe get
afford to be
upset.
associated with anything like that. But we are going to record it.
Although you wonder about after this whole apocalypse, maybe people won't care about the
Maybe it
trite
doesn't
shit
matter.
anymore.
I know. Well, that's the hope, right? With the apocalypse happening,
These
maybe it's
insignificant
going to
little-
create some perspective in people.
Like this doesn't matter, that doesn't